Very good. Very good, very good, very good. Okay, let's get this down here where we can see some things. Welcome. This is a live chat being recorded on the 17th of November. We're going to go through a bunch of Ask Dave questions. I'm a couple months behind on those, and we'll try to answer this here. Someone has just joined, and welcome to the stream. Just getting started. This is, again, more questions from at the Ask Dave facility on my website. The person, hello from W3DJS. How is my audio? Is my audio okay? I had trouble last time with audio, and hopefully I've got that cured, and I have the volume level up, and it is actually working. So I'll put that question up there. Oh, wow. Okay. Here we come. It sounds like the audio is okay. Great. We can get started. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, and we're going to do another Ask Dave live stream, which means I'll be answering the questions here, but I will also be looking at the chat feature that we have. We're 2 minutes into it, and I think this time we started with the audio. So now this video, when I'm done with it, will end up just as a regular video on YouTube. And hello to quite a few people joining already. Code Masseur, W3DJS is here. Mohammadriza Rahimi is here. Sue Jenlu, David Hoover. I took some classes at Hoover High School in Southern California. Richie's Radio Room. Hendrik Metz, Timothy Butcher, Russell Reedy, Dan Trainer, and he is posing a question. Mohammed Riza is posing the question: how can we design a dual polarized leaky wave antenna? I am not sure what that is. I did something on the internet. I took a look, and I haven't been able to figure that out. Cecil Madden in Raleigh. W9TIT, so on. Gosh, lots of people. Great. Okay. 31 watching now. Let's start into the questions. These start on Saturday, September the 1st. I'm not far behind. And hopefully with this, I'm most of the way through September. And if we keep doing this every week in just a very informal basis, we'll be in good shape. Okay, so, oh wow, Deepak Cozy, audio and video is very good in India. Wow, going all the way around the world. This is cool. Okay, very good. All right, I'm using a different webcam this time. This is a Logitech, and it should be 1080p, although I'm getting the 4:3 ratio on there. I am using OBS Studio. I watched a video on it last night, and it turns out that I can do a great deal more with this program than I have been doing. So little by little, I'll learn this, and then it'll get real snazzy and fancy and all that sort of thing. Okay, the first question we have is from Jonathan Ruchke, WD6BNY. Okay, and he asks, what is the practical difference between the digital UHF and VHF voice protocols, such as DMR, System Fusion, and D-Star? My local clubs seem to be enthusiastic about different ones to the exclusion of others. I'd like to get started with one, but they're all touted as the best. Yes, they are. I travel cross country and would like a protocol with the widest acceptability. Your thoughts appreciated. Well, I wish we were there. I wish I could say to you, use this. But there is competition between companies. Yaesu has something called C4 ISR System Fusion. D-Star is Kenwood and ICOM, I think, are working on that one. D-Star was actually put together by the Japan Amateur Radio League and was intended to be the standard for digital voice on VHF. DMR actually it's an interesting one. It is the Motorola designed for commercial radio, for very large commercial radio interconnections and all of this kinds of thing, and it has all sorts of complications to it. Some people with Motorola radios, Motorola VHF, UHF handhelds, started putting DMR repeaters up and started connecting them over the internet. Well, the Chinese manufacturers, who are really moving into the UHF, VHF handheld market and now somewhat into mobile. I haven't seen an HF rig from them yet. And I've reviewed quite a few of these Chinese radios. And when they go digital, they don't go System Fusion or D-Star, because those are other manufacturers, but the Chinese seem to have settled on DMR. Personally, I think DMR is probably the wave of the future. What is the practical difference between them? The practical difference is that they are completely incompatible with each other. There's no way to talk. Now, there is one little exception to that. If you use a hotspot, and mine's all connected to cables over here, so I can't quite. Well, you know what I can do? I can just pick up this antenna. Okay. This is a little digital hotspot called Open Spot, and it will allow you to use a variety of digital protocols. Put this back here where I'm looking at it. And this hotspot will accept DMR, and I believe, if I understand it correctly, it will do a bridge between DMR and D-Star. I've never tried it. It sounds to me to be quite complicated. Let me scroll down and see what we're getting for questions. Okay. OBS is great. Yes, open source. Old Hallicrafter. Yes, that is an old Hallicrafter. Let me show this to you here. Let me get this down here so I can see what it is I'm showing rather than the ceiling. That is a Hallicrafter's S20R. And the story behind that radio is quite interesting. When I was a boy, I had a doting aunt. And Aunt Helen, I had been given a crystal radio and was totally fascinated with this idea of voices coming out of the air with no visible means of support, you might say. And so she gave me a Hallicrafter's S20R, and I had that for many years just to listen to. I listened to shortwave, I listened to hams, and that's where I developed my interest in ham radio. Unfortunately, there was no mentor anywhere, and my dad didn't know anybody who was a ham, so I didn't get into ham radio until I was in college. The S20R that I had disappeared a long time ago. I think when I left home to go on my mission and go to college, it got chucked. However, I wanted one. You know, you get to a certain age and you want a copy of everything you had as a kid. So I put an ad in Electric Radio saying I wanted one, and somebody contacted me, and I picked this one up. So I'll have to grant you it's there as a room decoration, but it's the radio that first interested me in ham radio. So let's get this. over here. Okay, we got 60 people on now. Lots more people coming in. Sweetness on radio, yes. From here in Philadelphia. And wow, oh, lots of people coming in there. James, Katie, John Duncan, Hilkiah Lavinier from Dominica. Apologies for my anglicization of your name. Joe Mercado from San Diego. It's probably a little bit warmer in San Diego right now than it is here. It's 51 outside, a nice comfortable 71 in the ham shack right now, just from the sun. Okie dokie, so which one is the best? Well, of apples, oranges, and kumquats, which one is the best? They're just different and they're incompatible, and what may bring them together are these little hotspots that seem to be able to work from them. I did a video on hotspots. Okay, next we have a question from Ronnie Luttrell. Okay, he's KI4DXC in St. Augustine, Florida. Hello, Florida. I was in Florida in the Air Force. As a recent retiree, exploring ham radio, credits my videos for triggering his interest. Cool. Thank you for that. I'm glad that you enjoyed them. I love the chase of learning something new, and have explored 3 major equipment manufacturing offerings. And he names D-Star, DMR Fusion, and P25. P25 is similar to DMR. It's used commercially. I say commercially, it's non-military use. It's used police, fire, rescue, first responders, city radio maintenance, things like that. Hi, Florida. Tony, where are you in Florida? 70 degrees in San Diego. Wow. Yeah, San Diego's quite a nice place. It's a beautiful place. And then I introduce hotspots. The question now becomes which PC to use. So as experience, what recommendation for a PC? Well, I'm probably going to get 50 million blasts back on this, but just a plain old ordinary Windows PC these days, just a laptop would be fine. Some of the ham radio software is written only for Windows. Ormond, okay, Ormond in Florida. I'm not sure where that is. I was in the Tampa area. I lived in Tampa for 3 years while I was in the Air Force. Let's see. Can hotspots be connected directly to the internet via Ethernet cable? Yes, they can. Mine is. Do you have to connect it to the computer? I'm looking at mine. Mine gets power from the computer. Let's see, folded. Ever heard of the folding hex beam made in Germany? No, I have not. Hello, Denmark. Blue Springs, Missouri. You exhibit great well-beingness. Yes, I have been a little bit under the weather. Actually, I'm scheduled for a root canal on this coming Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. Until then, I'm drinking liquids for lunch. The Soylent is a meal replacement drink and doesn't bother the tooth. Let's see. Oh, cool, James. Nice words, thank you. On the shores of Lake Huron. Question about QSL cards. Do people mail real cards, or do they mostly do it electronically now? Here is my QSL card right here. KE0OG. It's got the standard stuff on them. I have not mailed a QSL card in a long time. Most people are doing it now with Logbook of the World. But if somebody sends me a paper QSL, they get one back. And so I even have my little forever postcard stamps here that I can send those back. From the rim of hell, Mojave Desert, Boron, California. I used to spend a lot of time in Lucerne Valley, which is not dreadfully far from there. Soylent Green, yes, that is actually the name. It's a meal replacement drink. You could actually live off of this stuff. And watching Dave makes me eat chocolate and measure wire. Yeah, I love the chocolate too. Hello from Arkansas. Okay. Can hotspots be connected directly to the internet via Ethernet cable? Yes. However, my hotspot gets its power through the USB cable. Okay. If the hotspot can be directly connected to the net, can they now be operated without using a PC? Yes. Yes, it's just getting power from the computer. All right. We're going to have to move along if we're going to get through some of these. This next one is from John, N7 Golf Hotel Zulu. Tested and passed my amateur extra test today. Today was September 1st. And he's an Augie subscriber in Tucson, Arizona. Very cool, and congratulations to you. And John, good luck, and we'll see you on the air. That's great. Okay. Let's see, Rollin Smith, K7OJL, asks this question. Recently moved to a new house in Tooele, Utah, and put up a homebrew fan dipole. Okay, 1.5 or 1 or less across all 3 bands. Cool. Yeah, you don't need to use a tuner on that. That's fine. Have a Yaesu 897D transceiver, which has worked well for many years. Now, his question is that the noise floor here is consistently S9 or above on 40 and 20, 24 hours a day. That is a growing problem these days because everybody has their little devices like I have here, and what happens is that I guess you'd call it the noise environment, the ambient noise environment, especially in the cities, is up high. One of the problems is that the stuff we get, everything from LED light bulbs and so on, have electronics in them. And as you know, for consumer equipment, the goal is to get the price down. So things that most consumers don't think about, like how much RF something emits in the course of its normal operation, people don't even think about it. They don't care about it. They're not willing to pay for a higher quality device. And so we're getting all sorts of stuff like that. I am fortunate living out here in the middle of nowhere. And I don't have very much noise. S3, something like that, living out in the country. You can try looking for noise sources in your own home. One way to do it is to operate your rig on battery, turn all your breakers off, and if that changes the noise, then turn your breakers back on one by one until you figure out which one is causing the noise. Or ones. There may be more than one. I mean, even GFI outlets, some of the older ones, radiate noise. Finding RFI, and that's what your name of your problem is, RFI, radio frequency interference. The League has some books on that, on finding it. It can be a long-time quest to get to all of that. So all I'm going to say is good luck. He says, Roland says he is also a Patreon supporter. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let's see. Somebody mentioned recently switched to Huel, H-U-E-L, for a replacement for Soylent. I will have to look at that and see. Yeah, last movie, that's really something. Good morning from Camas, Washington. Building a cobweb. A hard time finding fiberglass tubes 6 feet long check people like DX Engineering and MFJ. They have those. And good luck with your cobweb. It's a worthy idea. I have one. I like it. Okay, from India. It's now in the middle of the morning. Oh my goodness. Yeah. LED lights, grow lights, blow dryers. The grow lights are really bad. Not knowing what band conditions are like on 160, would it be worthwhile to put up an antenna? You know, I have never, in 40 some odd years of being an amateur radio operator, 43, never had a QSO in 160 meters. I've never had an antenna for it. Thank you for the videos, and he's become an amateur extra. Great, Bob. Being a new ham, struggling to get DMR working right. Who isn't? That is hard. Have an Anytone 868 Mark II. Yeah, go find someone else in your club and have them work with you. It used to be when everyone used Motorola, they could share code plugs. A code plug is a DMR term for the entire file that you load into the radio that has all the channel programming and stuff like that. Nowadays, some clubs work real hard to get code plugs out for different radios. And a good thing to do if you're a member of one of those clubs is to get the radio that everybody else is using. It makes it a lot easier that way. Thanks to KE0OG and my wife, or his wife, and he went from 0 to hero in 8 months. Wow, very good. And Richie's Radio Room supporting me as well on Patreon. Thank you. And Winnipeg, Manitoba. We're up to 73 people on the live stream now. We're answering Ask Dave questions. And let's get going. I'd like to keep this probably to an hour. Otherwise, people fall asleep. Let's see. This one's from John Christensen, KI7UXS. Oh, he has an aluminum body Ford Super Duty. Can't use the mag mount dual band mobile antenna because the top is not made of ferrous metal, so it won't stick. They do make window type mounts or door mounts that clip to the door or clip to the door frame, so that that gets around the fact that that's aluminum up there. The roof mount would be complicated, although he knows it would be best, looking for a shorter antenna option, because he has to use the ferry a lot. He's in Washington State and can't be over 7 foot 2 inches. Well, MFJ used to have some little 2-meter antennas with a kind of a window clip to them, so you can put it on the door. It's not optimum, but it does work. So, need to program repeaters from here to Rexburg, Idaho. I would think that just one of those MFJ dual band window clip antennas would be a good thing to do. Give them a call and see what they have. Most everything's mag mount these days. So. Okay, this is from Larry Weed, KI5ACA. It says, like so many others, he lives in an HOA, but unlike others, my property is heavily treed. I have installed a dipole successfully, but would like to install a multiband vertical. Don't believe this will be a problem if he can coat the antenna with a color similar to standard military green. One of the problems with paint is that it can be not transparent at RF. You want paint that is opaque at visual wavelengths, but clear at RF. Look up on Google, do searches on radome paint. Radome. A radome covers a microwave antenna or a radar antenna, because those paints have to be transparent to RF, and then use one of those. And he says he's thinking of a fog coat of a lacquer similar in appearance to military hardware. That may be a very good way to go. But somebody who is really into the radome paint and things like that would know. This is from Shane. Following questions. What factors do I consider as to which direction my dipole should be, east to west, north to south? Let's see, he doesn't say where he lives. It really doesn't make a huge amount of difference. Most dipoles are, unless they're like 20-meter dipoles, are often at less than optimal height, and so they tend to be a bit more unidirectional than directional, just because of the height. Or you could go with an inverted V, just get the center up high and pull the legs out as far as you can, and that will give you a fairly omnidirectional antenna. This is for my son for apartment uses, the mag loop antenna. 2 balconies, one facing east, another one west. Does it make any difference where it's to put and which countries read? Probably, yeah. Does the mag loop antenna point to one side and can contact countries facing that side only? A mag loop, if you look at the loop, if you look at the ray going through the loop, that is the direction of least radiation. The loops like to radiate off their ends. Okay, you can also orient the loop horizontally, in which case it would become a omnidirectional horizontally polarized antenna. On a Yagi antenna on the rotators, how does one know where it is pointed to and which country area it points to, and how to decipher from the angles? Yeah. This is an azimuthal map. You can get these by going to ns6t.net. That's ns6t.net. This one's the whole world centered on where I am. This is the US centered on where I am. And you see I've got numbers written all around the edges on this thing. And those are the beam headings. I have a hex beam, and so I had to put this together so I knew where the beam was pointed. You'll need to do something like that. Okay? Very good. Our next one is from Robert C. Beltran, KC2 TCJ. You have a program stating the setup for the first radio equipment, please. Could you advise me as to what episode that was, please? Go to my channel page and go to the let's see, the channel page, and then look at playlists. There's a playlist in there for the Ask Dave playlist, and it starts at 1, and just go down through them. You will find the video that you are looking for. Another way that you can get to that video is to go to www.dcasler.com/ask-dave, and underneath the form there is a list of the Ask Dave videos up through number 76, which is about half of them. I keep trying to hire high school kids to help me, and I keep running out of high school kids to help me. Sorry about that. Okay, and that way you'll be able to find that video. Let me just go back a little bit and look at some questions. Okay, the K400, no carbon-based paint, well, definitely no lead paint. There's one in Russian. Unfortunately, I don't have a translate button. Hit the like button. Thank you. I appreciate that. Have you displayed on my 56? Oh my goodness, large screen TV, great video experience. I think something that big would be frightening. and good audio. I'm just using the laptop's audio. I was trying to get it to use the audio from this little webcam. I'll have to take a look at that. Okay. Somebody's message ran afoul of YouTube's algorithms here. Sorry about that. Okay, this one's from Rich Cook. Are your technician DVDs suitable for the current upgrade July 2018 of the ARRL technician license? Question pool. A good question. This is the latest book, okay, and you want the one that says 4th edition, that's valid from 2018 to 2022. That's the current book. Now, I'm going through and redoing these videos now. This book just came out in July. So I am in the process of upgrading the technician videos to the new. It's a big job, and I'm making fairly slow progress, but I'm making something. This one is from Terry Moore, KI0RE. Terry is a friend of mine from Broomfield, Colorado. He and I were both Elmers at the Bark Junior organization in Boulder, Colorado, that worked with youth. And they'd have 20 to 30 youth there every Saturday. It was a wonderful organization. Terry and I have taught classes together. He says, would you be willing to change your ARRL Tech Manual edition to the latest edition and the date it expires? Yes, I'm in the process of doing that. And then he asked me, do I know anything about QAnon? And I looked it up on the web, and frankly, my shall we say, my fake news hackles really kind of jumped up when I read that, so I didn't pursue it. Sorry about that. Let's see. Okay. Said, why this channel and my recommendations come from? I don't know. Let's see. Hey Dave, from up north, the 48. Working on getting the HF shack on the air. Pulled my TS940 down from the attic. Good job. Get on the air. Yes. How long has Dave been answering? Since about the hour. I've been working on this about working on this for now for about 30 minutes. And this video will automatically be put up on my regular list of videos. So you can go to my channel at any time. The channel URL for me is youtube.com/user/Dave Casler, DAVECASLER. Well, I have to show you this since it's getting into the holiday season. A great gift for a ham. There's a link for this below all my videos. A little coffee cup with the OG logo on it. YouTube wants us all to have some kind of merchandise available, and I thought, well, a coffee cup. I don't think anybody wants to wear a t-shirt with that logo, but maybe a coffee cup. Make a nice gift. Okay, Jonathan Hendersby, thanks for everything you do. Well, thank you, John. I appreciate that. And let's see now here. Oh, this is interesting. Randy Euler, W0 USH. It says, Dave, I was curious if you could do a video on the Hellschreiber mode, specifically what equipment it takes to get started, a little history, and any tips you might have for someone interested in getting started on Hellschreiber. Hellschreiber was invented in the 1920s. It was used as, in Germany, Hellschreiber. Hell in German means light. Schreiber means to write. It's a light writer. It's actually technically in image mode. Yeah, I'll do a video on Hellschreiber. It would take more than just a couple minutes to explain it. I'll set this one aside and do a video on Hellschreiber. If you have DM780 or you have FL Digi, you have the equipment necessary to do Hellschreiber. There's a national organization for Hellschreiber, by the way. You can get a number, and they host various other things. Let's see. From Australia, from Cape Town. My goodness, this is the whole world. Looking to get the most out of my ICOM tuner, I guess, using horizontal 65-foot wire. Yeah, and from Australia, t-shirt, jacket, and RF-proof socks. There you go. What's my opinion of solar panels and RF interference and solutions from them? I run my station on solar power. I've got a panel out back. It's 24 volts, so I have to play some games to get it down to 12 volts. Yeah, the coffee cup you can get just below all of my videos. There's a link for it there. Is it possible to hit AMSAT with a 5-watt HT? Yes. Yes, it is. However, you need to have a Yagi, a portable Yagi, like 3-element or something like that. Satellite is a hobby unto itself. I have a good friend who is major into that. I'll have to go interview him and put a video together about satellite, because there's a lot of FM birds up there that you can hit with a handheld and a handheld antenna, and it's pretty cool. Okay, we're down to 81 people watching now. Okay, oh, and here's a guy, Richard Black, who's having a lot of trouble with the programming cable. He found that they would not work through a hub if you plugged it in directly, and I know they like the USB 2.0 types of things. Okay, says if he can gin up some ambition, he should enroll in extra class lessons, and by all means, they're there. Go to ke0og.net/extra to find a complete list of the current videos. This one is from Diego Barrentos. Love your videos, thank you. Wondering if I could do a review of the HF QRP Minion Mini, which seems to be an interesting small form factor transceiver. I looked it up. The rig is it's made in Russia. It looks like a very nice little rig. It's about $350 in the United States. Diego is in Chile, so in Santiago in Chile. And he gives a web address to take a look at it. It's a direct conversion. Well, it says direct conversion. It's not really. It uses a oh, now I'm going to forget the name of it. The QRP Labs came out with the QCX radio, which has the same architecture as this Minion does, but the Minion is like a 9 or 10 band radio. Now, QRP Labs is going to be coming out with something very similar at a much lower price, around 150, something like that. He has not priced it yet. He wanted to have it out by November, but it hasn't made it yet. This is going to be a very similar rig. The Minion rig uses something where it calls a phase reception. What it's doing, it's got the I and the Q signals, and it's combining them in a way that creates whichever sideband you want, and you can do CW with that too. It's a very cool thing, and I looked on the website, and it looks like a nice little radio. And okay, so Rodney Everidge, KE0 PHS. Potential problems if he stacks dipoles on the mast. Now, as near as I can tell, he's got two masts like this, and he's stringing dipoles for different bands vertically. Now, there is such a thing as connecting all those dipoles to one feed. You can make those work that way, and tie them all together. Now you're going to have fun tuning them, because if you tune one, it affects the tuning on the others. But it can be made to work. They're called fan dipoles, and you could look them up. How far is too far from the end of the wire to the pole? I did a video where that was one of the questions I looked at. If you've got a metal pole holding up a dipole, does it affect the dipole? And I found that if there was like 3 feet of rope between the end of the dipole and the pole, then the pole would not affect the dipole pattern all that much. Okay, this one is from Dan McCann, KF7KJW. Hi Dave, glad you're here. Had his license since 2007, just got a radio. A little problem with grounding and what to ground and how to ground. I have a video on grounding. It's Ask Dave episode 8. I said something about grounding the coax to the ground rod. It's grounding the shield of the coax to the ground rod. And the easiest way to do that is through a lightning arrestor. Go back and look at the video, because I think I've got all that in there. Maybe it's time to do another grounding video. I'm going to put this one aside because it's been a couple years. My Soylent is warming up. Warm Soylent is cold isn't too bad. It's still an acquired taste. Okay, James Sobecki, K9RBV, has purchased my extra class training videos on a flash drive, which are available on my website for $49.99. When I insert the USB port and the computer recognizes the drive, but the computer locks up, no mouse control. Oh, he's just having trouble with it. What am I doing wrong? Is the flash drive bad? Oh, doggone. This was September 16th. It's now 2 months later. James, I am really sorry that you're having trouble with it. Send me back. I'll send you another one. I'd like to get that one back so I can do some troubleshooting on it and see if maybe the way I recorded it was bad. But it should come up without a problem. I have had one other bad. I've sold about 100 of these, and I did have one other bad. So very sorry about the problems. If you haven't gotten it to work yet, please go ahead and just send that back to me. The question about the MFJ 1708 SDR transmit receive switch, will this work with my FT1000MP? From Jerry WW0E. The answer is simple. Yes. This one is from Bob AE7EE. Well, that's quite a CW call. Da-da, dit. Da-da, dit-a-dit, dit, dit. Your video on how to use an antenna tuner was very well done. You're an excellent speaker. Thank you. I think you might have added a caution. Oh, yeah. In the video, I do something stupid. I'm rotating the inductance selector switch while the transmitter is keyed. That's a great way to fry the switch, and I apologize for that. You know, I'm going to set this aside. I really should do that video over again and not put that mistake in there. I mean, I've got a comment in there or something like that. Okay, we're hanging in here with 84 people watching now. And let's see, we've got, let's take a look at the questions. Hi Dave from Coffee Cup. Let's see, we looked at that. Victorian Internet is CW. Yes, Tom, oh, the guy who used to run the FCC, did a book. Well, that was on Mr. Lincoln's use of T-mail. But there is another book out called The Victorian Internet. It's quite interesting. Satellite vid would be great. I'll have to do that. You should do a thing on Walmart on the air. Walmart on the air. Hello from Norway. Hello. Walmart is on 11 meters. Well, yeah. You know, around the rest of the world, CB doesn't have the bad rap that it does among United States hams. So you'll see that if you look in videos and websites from around the world outside the U.S., they don't have any hang-up with CB. Is there an episode in picking the right kind of ferret and the right way to install them? No, I don't. It's not something I know a lot about. Hello to Norway. So we're doing the extra videos. Let's see, +1 on a satellite video. Super cool. EU Africa just got a geostationary bird. Cool. Hello from Germany, Martin. And Dutchman in Belgium, ON2PCO. CW can be fun. CW is fun. I like CW. Episode showing the cheapest way to do a digital and phone moon bounce. Oh my goodness. That's what JT65 was originally put together for, was moon bounce, but people found it useful for HF. Okay, for end-fed half-wave 40 through 10 dipole, would you recommend mounting about 10 feet and grounding the unknown or higher? Most of the commercial ones, they have a 9-to-1, trying to remember if it's a voltage balun in there, and you need to connect at least a counterpoise to it, preferably ground it. So mounting about 10 feet, and I get the thing up as high as you can, at least get the middle up. The ground wire might act as the antenna. Well, just disconnect it from ground and use it as a counterpoise. That will help too, but you do need something there for those to work. Hello from chilly Chicago. Yes. I want an inverted V, but I want to pull the 45 degrees from the center to the side as well as out from the tower. Pull it as much as you can out. 88 people watching now, 85 at the moment. Body temperature silent, raspberry. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Your videos were super useful during my prep for the tech. Now to the general. Big shout from North Carolina, KN4PSQ. CW sucks, long time prefer. Well, if you don't like CW, you don't have to use it. It's there if you want it. Okay, just got done with our A, as my name was mentioned. Oh, that's frightening. Best place to find WinLink frames. You know, that's something I don't know much about, but on HF they're like 65 kilohertz above the bottom band edge, like 14065, somewhere in that region there. I'm from the UK. Andy, hello. Recovering CBR gets ham ticket. Good for you. I'm going to need a relay interface between the FL and refurbishing this. The read relay and the 450 won't last long. Those read relays are made to last forever, so keep going. And after all, they can be replaced. Can CW be worked on satellites? Yes, there are some that have what they call a transponder on them. Hello from Tampa Bay. I used to live there. Okay. Bob KE7GUO. I have noise problems the last 10 years, getting so bad now. This is the same thing we talked about earlier about the rising noise floor in urban areas is just bad. It says he's only interested in a 500-mile radius voice comm, so you're looking at 80 meters or 40. 80 meters, of course, will have a lot of noise during the daytime. It's good at night and in the early morning and late evening. Yeah, that noise is just an issue. We all need to move to the country. KN2RZY says, hi Dave, good to see you back. Yes, I had a little bit of a hiatus due to some health concerns. Good to see you back. Just wondering about the updates in the general class. The new general class manual comes out next year, and so my plan is to update them next year. All right, that's from Lee. This one is from John Niemi, KG5KHG/AE. Just wanted to let you know that I passed the AE test this weekend at the Duke City Ham Fest. Well, he wrote this in Sunday, September 23rd, and as it turns out, I was at the Duke City Ham Fest. I'm trying to get out and see more ham fests now, and that one is in New Mexico, so it's not very far away from us. I very much, by the way, enjoyed that ham fest. It was a really nice one. I've been contacted by their management. They want me to speak next year, so maybe I will. Warm Soylent. This one is from Richard Morris, W7DCF. When I changed out my Wi-Fi router a few months ago, I slowly discovered that there was significant added interference across a number of bands, including HF and VHF. I put some ferrites on the power line and Cat5 line to the router, but it didn't do much good. Short of moving or replacing the router, is there something to be done? It says, of course, turning it off is very effective. Previous router was not so bad. Well, if it sounds like you really know it is the router, I'd move it. Put it in some other part of the house and see if that helps. But yeah, like I said, routers, even from the name brands, they've got the same thing. They're really trying to keep the price down, and so you don't get all of the protections that you should get. This is from BG, that's Bravo Golf 9 Golf X-Ray Mike. Richard, I looked that call up on QRZ. He's in China. He says, I'm wondering, do you want to expand your videos to BY? Well, yes. I think I could make some subtitles here for your video and put it online in BY. In BY, YouTube is not allowed. Let me just talk about closed captioning. YouTube has a way that you can take anybody's video, including mine, and add closed captions to it. So if you go to the trouble to type it all out, you can put that in there, and then I get a notification, and I can go in and approve that, and then the video is now available with closed captions in another language. I encourage you to do that. It helps spread the word about ham radio. My audience right now is almost all English speakers around the world. 75% of my viewers are in the United States, so 25 are outside the United States, sprinkled among Australia, Great Britain, South Africa, Canada, of course, several other places like that. And a big viewer, interestingly, is Germany. I think a lot of Germans understand English very well. My understanding of German is bad. I was in Germany once and very carefully asked a store clerk if she had something for cold. And I did it in my very best German, which was probably terrible. She said, yeah, sure we do. It's right over here. And I thought, oh, good grief. I should have stuck with English. I was doing fine. Anyway, yeah. Let's see. This last one is from Nick. And Nick says, currently studying for the tech test. This is Saturday, September 29th. He purchased one book, but felt it was geared toward memorization, unfortunately. I do not learn that way. I don't either. So I have been searching around the web for answers so to better understand the material and concepts rather than just passing the test. Luckily, I stumbled upon your site. I'm going to order the ARRL book and follow your advice. I think it will help me to learn, not memorize. Any additional advice or tips would be greatly appreciated. Persevere. Persevere, Nick. Just keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, and it will come. It may have already. This takes us most of the way through September. Let's go up here and take a last look at the comments and questions. Well, they're really coming in here. Your videos, this is from Norway. Let's see. Moon bounce, wanted to do that. Eat people, body temp, soylent, yeah, raspberry with 2 Z's. Videos were super useful during my prep for the tech exam and now for the general. From KN4 PSQ, great, I'm delighted. Super helpful. I will use your podcast from Extra Studies. Dave just got done. Oh, I saw that one. Okay. Would love to get you on Marfugel TV. I've directed many people to your online courses so they recognize you. I made a ham radio 101 video and you're in it. Would love to share the link with you. Well, please do that. Send it to hamradioanswers@gmail.com. That's hamradioanswers@gmail.com. And I'll look at the top ones that come. That's the address I'm working off to get these done. Renting, and only antenna you can put up is above a tin roof. If I ran a dipole above it about 8 feet, would it work? Yeah, you'd get the locals, 40-meter dipole, something like that. Try and get it higher if you can. Here's someone who loves the live feeds. Thanks for the videos from Benjamin Vaughn. Thank you. Wish you had training sessions on Canadian Advanced. If you send me the syllabus, maybe I can look through it and pick things that would make nice videos. From AC9KI, hello. Nice to have you back. The Netherlands from PC4AD. Which type of antennas are suitable for sailboat made of polyester to be used in the HF band? Greetings from the port of Antwerp in Belgium. Okay. Well, you're probably going to run a vertical up a mast, and to ground it, just put a wire in the water. Salt water is like the world's best ground. That is not true of fresh water. Lovely German anecdote. I have one very similar for French, yes. How can we find UCC1 state by state? I'm not sure I understand the question. Gigabit ports on routers are notoriously noisy. Yeah, should have been keyboard 8 the H. Okay. PA3GTL, Wim, is on. How do you transmit video on 2 meters? You usually go to 440. 2 meters is only 4 megahertz wide, whereas 440 is 30 megahertz wide. And so you can broadcast live fast scan video on 440. Going to get your extra videos. The book isn't getting through the fog in the head. Thanks for doing them. I do have the extra videos on a thumb drive. So that's on my website. If you go to ke0og.net/extra, there's on there is a link to where you can get them. Let's see. Hi from Massachusetts. From Bob. Had my general since May and working toward extra sometime the next couple of months getting the HF world. Any tips on purchasing used equipment to start out with? I generally don't recommend new hams start with used equipment because that's just adding another layer of potential complexity on top of what you're already doing. However, if you know the ham involved and you're working with a group and that ham can sit with you until that thing is up and working, fine. You can save a lot of money doing that. Ham radio does retain a fair amount of value over quite a number of years. Of course, there's always the immediate depreciation the first time you hit the on button, but that's true of cars too. Okay, we are... let's see, let me get over here to this thing so I can say goodbye. All right. I mentioned in some previous videos that we've got a sponsor that they give us $100 a month. So it's lcsc.com. They're in China. They are kind of like the Chinese equivalent of DigiKey. You can get just all sorts of parts and stuff like that from them at very low prices and with good availability. So I thank them. Also, there are a lot of people on Patreon who are offering everything from $1 to $50 a month, and I get about $300 a month from them. I really appreciate that. I had a video go viral last month. That was the one on what the FCC is doing with the Chinese radios. So my advertising revenue went up temporarily. It's getting back down to where it normally is. And I hope to do a follow-up video to that fairly soon to talk about what the FCC and the ARRL have agreed to. I will be trying to get up the rest of the technician videos. It's just a matter of sitting down and doing them. And last week here, my wife and I were down in Zion National Park. She had an art workshop that she was in, and we decided to take the travel trailer down there. It's interesting living in a travel trailer when it's below freezing outside. So with that, I want to say thank you, particularly to the Augies. If you subscribe to this channel, you're an Augie. Take the OG from the logo, and it's Augie. And an Augie is someone who has subscribed to this channel. It's also the name of a Cornish pastry. So thank you all so very much. Multiple 73s from this end, and we will talk to you later. Please feel free to comment on this video. The actual comments that were recorded during the video will appear during playback, and then you'll be able to add additional comments at the bottom. So thank you for all of those who have hung together with me for this past hour. We've had a lot of fun. I'm going to try to do this again this coming Saturday. So 73s, and we'll see you next time.